All right, everyone, welcome back to the East Coast, the Northeast, where the humidity is 200% as usual. Right now, I've got a vision of the car back together. This is actually something we did after we put the radiator mounting in, and I'm going to take video of that as well. I just love these cars, like I've said all along. And today, I've got to figure out the linkage because it's a little loose for the transmission. All right, what's on the bench? Looks like some fine thread nuts. Oh, let's see if I can, is this label? Yeah, but anyway, they are 1/4 28 fine thread, standard American. Yeah, you can't find these anywhere. Once again, I had to order them off Amazon, something that I would think would be in the hardware store, but yeah, no dice. Support bar is out. I put these back because I know where they are if they're right there. Here is our radiator mount setup. You can come in, one hand, pull that right off. I'm kind of down in the dumps here. Let's take a look. So this was our mounting bar. Old school, just like back in the day. When you had a Firebird, they just had a channel that the radiator sat on, and this is what we welded up and tacked on there. Big, beautiful 6-liter LS that's been sitting there for months. I know. It's baby steps with this car because it is just one thing after another, special order, make it fit, get some idea of how we're going to make it work. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Just doing some notching here for the radiator. We ran into some issues here. I cut this tab off for the headlight. I know. But we're also going to come up in here. I'll probably nip this off because it looks like it's making contact with the radiator as well. I think we'll be all right because there's like a whole bunch of stuff that holds this, and then there's this reinforcement right here, so I think we'll be good. That just holds on the grill, so I think we'll be good there. I might have to take a notch, just like a little swoosh out of that right there. Maybe I'll seal it up with some silicone or something, but other than that, still making room for the radiator. Belts are looking good. Like I said, this hydraulic hose right here is the bane of my existence. I wish I could turn it, but it makes a hard left right there. I have a feeling if I tried to move that at all, it would either kink or snap off. But yeah, that's hooked up. There's the other end of that coming out. I got this cooler right here. I don't know if I'm going to keep that. But we'll see. We'll probably make it all work. Worst case scenario, just gotta get another length of hose to come up to the reservoir here. Where's that? Let's see, the nipple's on the back. No big deal, we might have to cobble something together, but what's new? It's an engine swap, right? Remember, the goal is to go from 200 horsepower to 400 horsepower. So, we do what we got. All right, now I did something a little crazy, okay? And the reason I did it was I'm tired of trying to get around this fitting right here, right? That's on my power steering pump. So initially I bent this down while keeping an eye on it, make sure it's not exploding or anything like that, right? I got it to a point where I kind of liked it. And then I leaned in here and just gave it a little push. And it is almost flush with that power steering reservoir. So I'm gonna throw this radiator in there and see how we look now. Okay, so this is a 2010 Mercedes C300 gas V6. These are the access panels for the fuel pump or pumps. As you see right here, this is underneath the rear seat. And a lot like other German cars, you pop the front up, push the back of the bottom of the seat in, lift up, and then pull forward. I know it sounds crazy, but as you can see by these little hooks right here, there's a little hook on the back. When you push the bench back, lift up, and pull forward at the same time, the reason they say that is because of this right here. There's a little hook right there. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it right there. But anyway, we've got two covers, 8mm bolts, and we're moving forward. Whew, I thought these were glued shut, but it was only the pressure of it being, you know, closed for 15 years. So you can get your screwdriver right here in the top of this and flip them open. Man, that 15 years of junk in there. That's crazy. You got the same plug on each side, on the bottom. On the top, I don't know what's going on here. I'm gonna dig deeper. Alrighty, ran the shop vac, peeled back the wiring that was on here. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Mercedes is using this wire to energize the fuel pump. So eventually I'm gonna run the wire that I got on the spool from here to the LS computer, and that way we'll get our fuel system all hooked up. Then when we're ready to crank, I'll just tap into here, run the wiring from up there, and see if she runs. I don't know anything about these cars. I've always loved a Mercedes, but check this out. Floor mat, carpet with foam backing, foam plate, and a metal riser. This is the passenger side footwell. You think they wanted you to have a quiet ride? Holy crap. All right, so here we are. We have removed the battery because I spotted this grommet down there. You see that hole right there? 2010 Mercedes C300 LS Swap. We need the wiring. So I measured that hole with my caliper. It's not even 1 inch. So I will probably end up using something to make it bigger because the harness calls for a 2-inch hole saw. Yeah, gotta go twice as big. This ought to be fun. Whew, all right, so wrapping it up. One big change you'll notice is the LS wiring harness now comes from inside the car. Check that out. So there's a hole underneath the battery and to the right if you're looking at the battery. Reamed that out, busted the metal open, pulled it around. It's not permanent. That's what I did so I could get that through. But yeah, one half of the harness is where it should be and the other half is in the engine bay. That was quite the adventure. Just a note, if you're doing this, that hole down there, okay, in there, I know it looks like hell, but that hole down there, there is an HVAC duct. There's an HVAC duct behind that, about 1 inch behind it. If you're pulling the metal through, or if you actually have a hole saw, which I did not at the time, make sure the metal all faces this way, towards the engine compartment. That way you're going to be able to get your 4L80 transmission components. I mean, if you want to go automatic, apparently not a lot of people do. But what really makes me happy about this is we're in the final stages, and that's how I'm feeling, because I can finally take this wiring harness and just hook it up to everything. Then I can take my Mercedes main power wire and hook that up. Not only that, I can make a little platform right here where these bosses are from the LS4 intake manifold. And just like the original Mercedes mount, I can put the Mercedes computer right there and hook it back up to the car. I don't know what's going to happen with a whole bunch of stuff missing. I mean, obviously, I'd probably freak out, right? At the same time, I really couldn't have, like, try to figure out where to put the LS computer, where to put all the LS wiring and harness and all that stuff, and then still have the Mercedes computer there. Then I got to figure out an intake. Then I got to figure out cooling. It was just crazy. And then I got to make a bracket for this. Next, I got to try and find, come with me, try to find a way to get a throttle cable in there. I've got a right angle adapter for a motorcycle throttle cable that puts the cable at half, at 90 degrees. So I'm hoping I can get a throttle cable somewhere in there, and then I can make a gas pedal mount that will bolt in where the plastic assembly was. There's the actual pedal itself, but I have to see it. There's two studs sticking out right there. And I'm going to fabricate a piece of metal to bolt to that. Then weld this pivot point onto that piece of metal. And then way up in here, I don't know if you see it, but there's an area where we could possibly drill a hole and run the throttle cable through. Nothing easy. Nothing easy. But I said I wasn't going to do anything crazy today, and I lied. Got that all set up. Like I said, wiring, cooling, exhaust, fueling. Oh, let me show you what I did in the back. Yeah, I know I filmed it, but this is where we're at still. Going to have to, what we'll do is we'll probably hook up a hose into like a gas can or something from the gas line out front. I'll tap into these two wires right here, which are the heavier gauge wires, and we will see if we can pump some gas. Because if we can do that manually, we might quite literally be off to the races. Just want to say thanks for everybody watching. I'm trying to get this underway. The better part of the season here in Maine. It is hot and it is 200% humidity. So just waiting for, September, October, but I'm thinking by then I'll have this all together. And then what I'll do next year is I'll probably throw a cam in it. I'll probably AC it. But I just want to see this thing up and running. I've had this thing torn apart since, since the beginning of 25, and now it's almost the end. Hey, once again, thanks everybody. You have a great week, and signing off for the weekend. I'll still be throwing some cool shorts out there. And like I said, thank you for all your views. Take care. Have a great weekend. Great week.